patriots. Let me first thank you for attending Oakville's first event in the campaign for Maxime Bernier's People's Party of Canada. As you know, Maxime has the only real conservative party in Canada at the moment, and we need to support that. He lost the leadership of the Conservative Party because Scheer and his cohorts had subverted the process, and so Bernier left the party because he couldn't agree with the policies that Scheer had, and he called it corruption, and it probably was. So he set up his own party, which now has candidates running in almost every riding in Canada. So he's done a wonderful job in building an organization. It's not just the picking of the candidates, but it's the EDAs that support the candidates and do a lot of the legwork to build an organization. So tonight, we are proud to announce J.D. Meaney as your candidate, it's not our candidate, it's your candidate for the Oakville riding. Now, J.D.'s been active in local public affairs since 2000, and since 2010, he's been involved in many conservative campaigns as a volunteer. He's also sought the nomination to represent the Conservatives. However, when Scheer was elected, he decided that he could no longer represent that party, and he joined the People's Party. In the candidate election held on May the 29th, J.D. captured 85% of the votes of party members. Now that's a resounding endorsement for him and for the party as well, because he spoke eloquently of policies that he was adhering to. Our current government has been a total failure in every respect. None of the other parties understand the key elements we need to be successful. And I can tell you that JD will be a strong proponent of policies that we must implement if we wish to create the wealth that we need to maintain our standard of living.
Yes.
So please welcome Oakville's next member of Parliament, John David Meaney.
I believe in personal responsibility, individual freedom, respect, and fairness. I would first like to say, go Raptors. Next, let's get a hockey team in the finals. I'd like to introduce our EDA executives. If it were not for them, I would not be the candidate today in our beautiful riding of Oakville. We have Nigel, our riding secretary. Mr. Moneyman Bruno, our treasurer. JP, our vice president, and also our digital specialist. And of course, Roy, our president. They have all volunteered. Their efforts to bringing the Oakville PPC Association to where it is today. All true patriots. Thank you everyone for attending this evening. Our campaign has begun. This is a very special evening for a very special and critical election in Canadian history. A period of critical questions that must be answered that I wish to address here this evening. What makes a Canadian? What makes a government for the people and by the people? What makes a man stand by his word? What means taking action while talking less? What are the actions you look for in a person to represent your values? We live in a supposed democracy. I once heard the term that a democracy is having two wolves and a sheep decide what they should eat for dinner. The current state of the country does not represent what Canadians are asking for. The Liberal leadership under Justin Trudeau does not fit the bill. Part of restoring democracy is bringing a voice to those who are not being represented. And I'm proud to say Maxime Bernier and the PPC have done that. This very action has started to heal our broken democracy. A decade ago, I remember hearing terms like the middle class and how to join it. A group that is often never brought up anymore. How can we help them? How much have they shrunk? They are the backbone of a free country like Canada. Instead, I hear conversations like the rich are not paying their fair share and that the poor are suffering under low wages. The status quo has to evolve. Now, we are in an era of the meme wars and social media. How politics have evolved forever. Let's have some honesty here. These are complicated problems and they're not fly-by-night band-aid solutions. What will it take to restore democracy in Canada and return to a healthy middle class? In order to support a strong country. How does this impact Oakville? And what does this mean for our golden age Canadians attempting to retire? What does this mean for my generation, the millennials, and how we can become an asset to the workforce? What does it mean for environmental policies that make sense and how we can do our part nationally in order to have a global impact, making the world a cleaner and better place to live in? Most problems start close to home and driving those changes here. When it comes to personal safety, liberty, how to ensure those freedoms shall thrive? How do we do our part to keep our families safe? We live in polarizing times, no doubt. I have chosen this moment to run as a candidate for what I believe to be the most important fight for our country now at this election. We cannot risk losing our country to forces that will further change it from the Canada we have all come to love. It's our future and we have to decide how we want it. I conducted a poll I trust, which I had direct control over. I felt that the issues I mentioned have the largest range of importance in this election. There are many important issues in Canada that must be addressed. The most important issue that Canadians are fighting to preserve today is in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It is Section 2. It is free speech. What is free speech? What is hate speech? What is diplomacy? In Canada, we are supposed to be guaranteed freedom of conscience, freedom of religion, as well as the freedom of thought, belief,